on this episode of Postcards.
I think what's so remarkable is the amount of physical labor they do.
My dad had this ribbon candy machine, and it's still in the window of the original Cane Lakes.
Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Additional support provided by Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropies, Mark and Margaret Yekel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farms, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota. On the web at shalomhillfarm.org. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com. The Lake Region Arts Council's Arts Calendar, an arts and cultural heritage funded digital calendar showcasing upcoming art events and opportunities for artists in West Central Minnesota. On the web at lrac4calendar.org. Playing today's new music plus your favorite hits, 96.7 Cram. Online at 967cram.com.
I'm Tess Wagman. I'm a filmmaker based out of New York City. My film, it's my first project, it's called Great Lakes, and I filmed it in Knife River, Minnesota, and it's about the Cane Lake sisters and their candy store and their family's history. I discovered this story through my lifelong friendship with Patricia Cane Lake, and I've just always really enjoyed her company and loved her stories of Minnesota and the candy store that her father had. And about 10 years ago when she opened the candy store, I was always just very fascinated with it. And then my senior year in college, I was looking for a project to do, and I knew I had a story there, and so I wanted to come out and make the film. I came in the middle of the winter, so it was very, very cold, but it was so beautiful. The way the light is here is really remarkable, and especially as a filmmaker, that's very important. So I really loved the way the lake looked and just the energy of all of the people in the store. And I love candy. I'm a big candy eater, so eating all the candy was really fun. I made the film pretty much by myself, so I shot it, I directed it, I produced it, and I edited it. And I had a few people helping me. My brother, my best friend, and another friend of mine helped me edit back at school, so I learned a lot. I came and I filmed for 12 days straight, and I didn't really know what my story was. I knew I had these amazing shots of candy being made, but I didn't know where the story was. So I recorded the narration once I was back in Rhode Island. It was a phone conversation between me and Patricia. Patricia sent me all of their family's footage and a lot of stuff their dad had filmed of them. He loved to film with his Super 8 and 16mm camera, so a lot of that stuff she had digitized, and they sent that to all the 6 hours of that. My friend Offie helped me edit. So it was really a big labor of love. I spent many hours very confused and hoping I would figure it out, and I did, so that was cool. I think what's so remarkable is the amount of physical labor they do. They're working from like sun up to sundown and into the night. Patricia dips all night. It's a very physical thing. I mean, they're really stirring and pouring and lifting, and they really work super hard to make this beautiful product. And I think people don't realize the amount of effort and time that it takes to make this candy.
Pamela's my twin sister. Her and I have always had a nice, non-competitive relationship.
It feels really great to be at the Free Range Film Festival. Free Range has been really kind to me, and it's really nice to be here with all of the candy makers. It's great to see a hometown crowd watching the film and enjoying it. And I love being here in Minnesota. It's funny because a lot of things I've made I really hate to watch again, but I love this film. I really enjoy watching it, and I think it's because I really had a great time making it, and the people in it are such good people, genuinely. They love what they do and they love serving their community and contributing to life here. And I think that passion they have is something that really made making this film and watching it again, even though I made it and I know like where all the mistakes are, it still is really fun to see people react and enjoy it and laugh and have a nice moment. And especially seeing people that Patricia and Pamela grew up with, went to high school with, that they get to enjoy the film, and that's really all I've ever wanted. I love stories and I love telling stories, and I think film is one of those ways where you can share in a really big way.
We have a thing about our chocolates being roughly elegant and not perfectionistic. You know, you can see those truffles with the silk screen designs, and ours are always supposed to look lush and homemade. Nothing regimented about them. My name is Patricia Canelake. I'm from Knife River, Minnesota. Knife River is a town of about 239 people. It's historically a small fishing village. The community has no government. It's an unincorporated village.
Patricia loves pink. I do love pink.
Pamela's my twin sister. Her and I have always had a nice, non-competitive relationship. And her husband and her have been together for, I believe, over 50 years. They met in high school.
Here's the egg.
We have to go slow.
Last year?
It was a friend of mine who introduced me to Pamela, and his name was Eli Haitala. He was a Finlander. And I remember the day we met, I seen Pamela, and I went, you know, that's the best person I've ever seen in my life.
Pamela worked in the public library in Duluth, and she had just retired. We all started looking for a building for Pamela to start a candy store. Our friend, who's a fisherman, had an inside scoop on this Mel's Fish building that was for sale. It was a building that I used to go into a lot, just to buy a smoked fish and a root beer to go sit on the beach. It was a little red and white wooden building, and my dad's store had been red and white.
In 1905, a couple of Greek immigrants, the Kanalaki brothers, opened a homemade candy store on Main Street, Virginia. The business later passed to their sons, Leo and John, who now use the anglicized name Canelake.
My father is John Canelake.
There's John coming down the street there. How's that look?
Wonderful.
Really? You have to wave, John. There you are. Way to go.
John and Leo both went to World War II to the Philippines, and then they came home and got married and lived above my grandparents, about 2 blocks from the candy store.
Hey, Daddy-O.
My dad ended up staying with the business his whole life.
Okay, let's go ahead.
It is
Future spaghetti, call me back in a few minutes. I'll try to hurry up and clean
Are you
up.
sure?
So this is the original soda fountain. And Pamela and I both worked here when we were pretty young, 14 or 15, and then we worked behind the counter when we were in high school. All the cousins and us, all the kids were put to work packing candy. Inside would be either the syrups for the ice cream, like chocolate, strawberry. They had pineapple crush, and then they had the glass boats, and they'd make a strawberry sundae with syrup, crushed pineapple, whipping cream, a cherry on top. It was quite lovely. My dad made beautiful Easter baskets. They were very artistic. He said people used to come in and give them, at the time $1 was a lot of money, but they make a hollow chocolate egg. Before he dipped them or made them, the $1 would be in there for the child. And then they made little nests with coconut and chocolate and then little jelly beans on top. Lots of good candies at Easter. I like that, where it's like... This is where my grandfather stirred the kettle, my father and my uncle. He'd have the copper kettle here, and these spoons, it looks really gritty now, but it was a beautiful little stirring spot. He was very meticulous and detail-oriented, and you rather have to be when you're making candy because candy can go wrong pretty quickly. It can sugar, it can not work out, it can lay flat or not be glossy or not be the right consistency.
Okay, watch out now.
We're gonna flip it totally. Oh yeah, that one's sugared. Yeah, I can tell right away. It's not good. It's a sad one.
And my dad said, never change the recipes, never skimp on the quality. I can go somewhere else, taste a caramel, and I can tell if there's too much corn syrup in there, if there's not enough really good cream or butter in there.
Work our way backwards.
Pamela and I both really know how that taste is supposed to be because our father has instructed us over and over with flavorings and colors of things and consistency. The chocolate should always be shiny and tempered well. There should be a little beautiful loop on top of a chocolate so it looks very attractive. My sister especially was super excited about the copper kettle cookie. She's passing that on to her son, Andy.
Andy?
Oh,
And
hi.
that business will go on to him as a fourth-generation candy maker.
About 4 years ago or so, I dipped a caramel apple for one of our customers that comes in all the time with the licorice caramel because that's her dad wanted one. In the beginning, I was still living down in Minneapolis and I had different jobs down there. The last guy I worked for, he kind of sold off all of his properties, and so I was like, oh, I don't have a job, and so it seemed like a good time to come up here and start start making candy.
So this is our butternut griddle, and I'm just spreading it out and stretching it so it's a little bit thinner so that you can bite into it. As it cools, we kind of flip it over as well to try and get the nuts to fall a little more evenly. If you leave it to sit on the one side too long, then the other side doesn't look quite as pretty.
How many different kind of nuts do you have in there?
Almonds, cashews, peanuts, walnuts, yep, pecans.
The biggest seller, my dad said, was hot air.
You know what's good when it looks like a bunch of...
Sometimes called sponge candy, hot air, crunchy, any other names? Fairy angel candy. Angel candy, sea foam. It's got a little bit of a burnt sugar or molasses taste, even though there's no molasses in it.
All right, 70, 90.
Are you waiting?
He's over me on here.
Okay. Hi, Frank. How are you?
I don't want to go home.
Thanks, Ralph.
Dark sea salt.
You're back, huh? Okay.
So how long do we the white and the caramel?
January 20th. That could be a problem. No, I meant that we don't eat it.
Oh, you don't eat it?
I'm not gonna eat it.
Oh, my God. Well, it is a place where we've got some very loyal employees that stick with us.
Sue is my work grandma and Lynn is my work mom, so we get dinner sometimes. Yeah, it's awesome.
Since you don't want it to stick to the table, you have to spray it real well with a pan spray, but then it has that kind of oily coating at the bottom. So then when they go to dip it in the chocolate just slides right off. So you have to take a paper towel and try and get that coating off of there.
I was born and raised here. They called and asked me if I was interested in working, and I came down and they interviewed me, and I started, yeah. And I just love it. I'd like to go south in the winter. But my husband doesn't want to, so here we stay.
Okay, here's what we do. They fill it in there, and they bring it out here, and I gotta recheck it and pack it in these boxes, and we ship it out. You're probably looking at one of the best shipping and receiving clerks in northern Minnesota, or else the oldest one. We got this bubble wrap. We get this bubble wrap from Uline down in the cities, 250-foot rolls. You know, a bubble wrap, 1-foot bubble wrap on here. Now, Pamela, it's 234 ounces for this guy here. It's a Uline extra large box. We ship 2 boxes to Canada, 1 to England. So we are international. Mostly it's Minnesota, Wisconsin. It's all the states, it seems like.
There has been a lot of states.
There has not been Mississippi
Excuse me,
yet. You know, I just put thank you for your order. There's penmanship, English, math skills, everything is coming into this whole operation here. You gotta really know what's going on. That's it. Thank you for your order. Sign my name. SNR, shipping and receiving. Any problems? We're not Amazon people. And if Amazon did come up here, we could probably teach them a thing or two. You know, there were 2 boxes, so we sent them to the wrong spot. It was like 40 miles from here only, in Cloquet. So we packed the right box of candy, we brought it to her house. Personally went down there and gave them the right candy. Does Amazon.com do that? No. See, they can learn something from us, right? Pamela's so smart she can figure out anything. She can.
So they're kind of a cute pair. I like them, but they're running on batteries, they don't last too long, so. I love anything that's animated. Yeah, she was a Mickey Mouse. You can see the Mickey Mouse, and we took the head off and kind of used some of the same clothes, but covered it up. Yeah, it was a Santa Mickey Mouse. We changed it into Carmela.
Nope, that's too much. That's way too much. Oh.
Okay, Lynn, that's yours.
Okay.
Oh, mother.
What? Too much? Okay. It's very hot. Went to 320. But Andy's gonna flip his side up for the white part, and we're doing the color. I think I need a little more than 90. That's plenty. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna add a little peppermint to these two. And what you'll smell is a lot of it just kind of evaporating off. It's quite strong. Makes it whiter and adds air to the candy, so it's easier to play with. Andy, I'm your backup if you want me to step in.
Okay.
Your hands end up getting very hot on us.
How many red stripes?
Okay, so just put in a little bit of water and then one more here. 2 green? Yep. 2 green. Longer here. There we go.
Pam, look at mine.
Really beautiful.
Who's the best?
And a lot of people's candy canes are really perfect. Ours, we take pride that they look handmade. Yeah, I don't see any hard candy too much. You want curly cane? Oh yeah, curly cane. This is Andy's invention.
Yeah, this kind of curls at the end, yeah. This is for good children and then bad children.
This one you're going to have to go really fast if you want to cut that little solid thing off. My dad had this ribbon candy machine, and it's still in the window of the original Cane Lakes. And I always just kind of coveted this machine. When I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish we could try it or do something, but my dad just said it never worked for them. And so they weren't really big on hard candy. They did it like once a year. I like to collect the machines. So I started with maybe one of these, the ribbon candy, and you saw that in the demo. And then this is a wooden model of it. I had someone make this for me from the original patent.
Most of these machines on the floor here we have restored. We bought them on eBay. Most of them are Thomas Mills and Brothers, and this is one of their catalogs. They were patented in the early 1800s or late 1800s. And in each page of these catalogs, you'll be able to find the same machine and rollers that I've collected. But they also have many, many, many more that I've never seen before. And as soon as I find one on eBay, I try to bid and win it. This one is my latest find. It's got 19 different candy shapes on it. And the two will go together. The other one's over there to form a 3D shaped candy called a clear toy mold. They look like little toys because they stand. There's pigs and there's trains. These weigh about 30 pounds each. The reason sometimes there's only one roller shows up, a lot of times on eBay there's only one, is that during the war effort they would turn in metal for the war effort, and a lot of people would steal just one. What they say is very, very lovely. Do you love kissing? Yes, in the dark. Do you love hunting? Yes, in the bushes. Come to my arms with all my heart. Keep your promise. And it says, I never fail.
This is our bag of signs. Her art ability just makes the store, I feel. All her bears outside and her signs. And she made the Eulabian elves.
We wish you a salty turtle, we wish you some peanut brittle, we wish you a box of chocolates enough for all year. Good candy we bring to you and your kin. We wish you some twirly pops to bring you good cheer. We wish you a salty turtle, we wish you some peanut brittle, we wish you a box of chocolates enough for all year. Good candy we bring to you and your kin. We wish you some twirly pops to bring you good cheer.
Postcards is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Additional support provided by Margaret A. Cargill Philanthropies, Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien on behalf of Shalom Hill Farms, a retreat and conference center in a prairie setting near Windham, Minnesota. On the web at shalomhillfarm.org. Alexandria, Minnesota, a year-round destination with hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for memorable vacations and events. More information at explorealex.com. The Lake Region Arts Council's Arts Calendar, an arts and cultural heritage funded digital calendar showcasing upcoming art events and opportunities for artists in West Central Minnesota. On the web at lrac4calendar.org. Playing today's new music plus your favorite hits, 96.7 Cram. Online at 967cram.com.